Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to take this last minute table runner and add embellishments to it. Now if you haven't seen the last minute table runner video, the link will be appearing at the very end of this video. Now I want you to keep in mind when you are watching this demonstration that you would go ahead and take your fabric for the top and put your interfacing on the back. Then you would add many of your embellishments. But if you're using buttons, you would go ahead and complete the entire table runner and then add your buttons at the very, very end. So let's get started on this demonstration. So what you would do is you would go ahead and you've already got your interfacing on your fabric and you're stitching on the lining on the back, okay? What you would do is you would go ahead and stitch along all your sides. Remember to leave that little opening on the side so you can turn the table right side out. But at each end of the table runner, now I've already got that tassel in there, leave this open right here. Don't finish this little pointed corner off. Then take that little string that holds the tassel, put a safety pin on the end of it, and then reach inside that opening along the side of your table runner and push it through here. Okay, push it through there. Now don't push it so it's so tight in there that you can't stitch around it. So push it back just a little bit. Then, here it is. You're going to go ahead and close off this area here. And you might want to use your zipper foot when you're going around that corner. If it feels like the presser foot on your machine is struggling a little bit, maybe change to your zipper foot. Then after you've done that, trim some of the fabric off. You do this at each end, then reach inside along that opening, turn the table runner front side out, then just kind of pull a little bit on the tassel and it just comes out to a really nice sharp point. Tassels are really easy to put on. So here's my little pretend table runner right here. At each end you want to fold the edges in 1/2 inch. So while you're pressing, after you've turned it right side out, you want to press your table runner completely flat. Get your edges nice and pretty and then turn each end inside 1/2 inch. Then take your beaded fringe, and it's kind of fragile when you're working with it, so you want to make sure you put Scotch tape at each end of the beaded fringe. When you purchase it, they usually do that. If they don't, you should ask them to put some tape on it because it will unravel. Now I leave the tape on, so I've just pushed it inside the opening here and began pinning it down. Now make sure that you've got the lining also lined up with the edge here, because when we stitch it on, you want to make sure you get everything. And continue putting it in there. Now when you get to the end down here, and I'm going to probably do a cut right about here, make sure you put Scotch tape on here first, then cut the end off, because otherwise it will start to unravel. Then go ahead, finish pushing it inside and pin it down. Now when you go to stitch it on, I recommend you use a zipper foot like this, or whatever your zipper foot is, because it'll be real easy to stitch along this edge. So you want to stitch not too close, but relatively close, and make sure you're catching the lining on the bottom. So go ahead and stitch it all the way. Then of course don't forget to do your top stitching along the side. Now here is some really pretty Christmas fabric. I'm definitely going to do something with this. Again, if you just like simple, you don't want a lot of sparkly things on there, you could make a rectangle table runner or a round one and put this really pretty pom-pom fringe at the very end, or you could stitch it around the entire edge. I love these little pom-poms. These are really pretty. And then don't forget, there's also green pom-pom fringe. Now let me show you one more sample. Here's some really pretty fabric. Don't forget red fringe. There again, you could put it at each end of the table runner. Make sure on all of the fringes, whether it's beaded, pom-poms, or this other little fringe here, stringy fringe, put tape on the end because this will start to come apart. So you would put this fringe on and the pom-pom on just like you did the beaded fringe. Nothing changes. Now here is a table runner with two fabrics stitched together. This same fabric is stitched on at each end. Over the seam, I've put this gold metallic rickrack on. And then at the very end are these really pretty beaded fringe that goes across the top. So when you're putting together one like this, and you're going to put ribbons across the seam, you first want to take your fabric for the top of the table runner and put on your iron-on interfacing on the back. Then take whatever ribbons you're going to use and lay it across. Make sure you leave at least a ½ inch or more, because sometimes this metallic, like this particular one right here, would unravel, and then you're going to have a battle trying to get it to stitch on. So leave plenty out there along the edge. Then go ahead and stitch along each side of the ribbon, whether it's the rickrack or straight ribbon like this. So stitch all of that on. Then go ahead and put your lining on the back. Go ahead and put that on, stitch along the two sides, that either 1/4 inch or ½ inch, whatever it is you want to do. Then reach inside and turn it front side out. So if you're going to put beads on, do not close the two ends yet. So just stitch your sides. Let me show you how to put. Now in this rectangular one, it's got multiple pieces of fabric stitched together, 7 different pieces, all the same size. And I'm using rickrack along here, gold metallic rickrack. And the reason why I chose gold metallic is because in the fabric itself, there's metallic print all over it, including the green one and this cream colored one. So I wanted something to reflect the gold metallic in here. And so you could do this crisscross pattern all the way down the table runner. Now again, when you are doing your ribbon trims, you put the interfacing on the back of your fabric first, then stitch on all of your ribbon trims, and the interfacing acts as a stabilizer, so your fabric will not pucker as you're putting it on. Now if you don't like gold metallic ribbon, here's some other gold ribbon that's kind of shiny, and this works very well with this cream colored fabric. So if you want it, you could use something like this. This is about ½ inch wide ribbon, and you could do this pattern all the way down the table runner. Now here's one that's just really simple. If what you wanted to do was just cover the seams, you can use this ribbon here over it. And then here's another different style of ribbon. And this is very pretty, very feminine style. And then I'm going to show you just a couple more. And then here's one where I'm using a really wide ribbon along here. And then here's one more. I've used a wide one and then stitched another ribbon, a narrower one, in the center. So when you're doing these, you would put of course the large one on first, stitch along each edge. Now I didn't use metallic thread because I find metallic thread very difficult to work with, so I used a deep gold thread, and it really doesn't show at all. And then after this is stitched on, lay this one on top and then stitch along each edge of that ribbon. Now, if you don't like sparkling, there are many things you can do in which you don't have to use gold metallic ribbons. So here is just some really simple red Christmas fabric with small white Christmas trees on it. So if you wanted to, let's say, have a country style Christmas table runner, you could add this red and white checked ribbon and maybe come in 6-7 inches from each end and put this along here. And then if you want just a little bit more festivity to it, consider Christmas buttons. Here's Christmas trees. This has got a couple of little holes in it so that you can stitch it on. My favorite are these little snowflakes. Okay, so you could put little snowflakes all across there. And here's a Christmas wreath. Now here are some buttons. Here's one, a poinsettia, but on the back are those little plastic loops to sew it on. What I don't like about these is it won't lay flat. So you could clip these off, but be careful, because my husband told me, Mr. Cameraman, the button might come apart if you clip this off. So you can try it and then use glue to put them down. Here's another one, same thing, it's got that little loop, and here's some more little Christmas bells. Well, I hope the previous demonstration inspired you to add some embellishments to your table runner. Now, what I've shown you is not the only thing that you can do. This is a very basic last-minute table runner, and I've added a machine applique flower pot and leaves, and then stitched on things like this. It's called yo-yos, and put the buttons on top. And this is at each end of the table runner. So at the very end of the video, I'll give you a link in which you can connect to this to learn more about machine applique. Now, if you like this video, click on thumbs up, and then click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then click on that red button down there in the lower right hand corner. Enter your email address and click on the little bell so you'll receive future email notifications about my latest videos. I'm Cheryl. So glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time. Bye for now, and don't forget, happy sewing!